Welcome to another video from Cardboard East. My name's Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. This is everything that I've gotten around the time of Tokyo Game Market. Woo, it's a lot. But instead of doing an hour video or maybe 2-hour video talking about all these games, today I'm just going to talk about these 5. First up on the list, Loop by Takashi Saito. Now, this game came out last year, and when I played it, I wasn't too thrilled about it. But then I played it correctly at 4 players, and something changed in my mind. Now, most of what you get in Tokyo Game Market, very few are like just phenomenal, amazing games that I think will definitely be picked up and licensed by the West. But I think there's another huge section that's bigger, and that's just wild curiosities. Games with very interesting twists on mechanics that you've never seen before, and you think, wow, that's really fascinating. What is that like? And this is what Loop is in spades. Now, at first glance, Loop is just a regular shedding, ladder climbing game. The twist of the game is that you're gonna have to switch seats. After everyone's gone out, you'll rank the hands from 1, 2, 3, 4, like which one went out first, second, third, and fourth. And then players will be choosing which hand to play. When you discard cards when you play the game, you have your own discard pile because you're keeping the hands separate. If you choose the hand that came in 4th place and you get 1st place with it in the next round, you get to score even more points. Well, Chris played that hand extremely poorly. I want to try that hand and see if I can do a better job than Chris. Oh, Mike did extremely well with this hand. Let me give it a chance with this one and see if I can make sure that it's always good. And that's really, really fascinating. Now, the original rule says that you have to switch seats. So I switched seats with Chris to play Chris's hand. I switched seats with Mike to play Mike's hand, but I didn't play that way the first time, and I think it was a huge mistake. The reason is that you mentally become aware of like, oh, well, Chris's hand was actually a really, really good hand. It had like lots of 8s in it. So therefore, I associate that seat with that hand. When you're switching the hands around by not switching chairs, it's really hard to keep mental track of which hand is good. But by locking that hand with that table position, it's far easier for people to grasp and keep a hold of. So doing that really, really changed the game. And at 4 players, I think the game really, really sings. Because at 4 players, you're kind of guaranteed to have one good hand and one bad hand. And even though when you have the bad hand, it might feel kind of terrible, like maybe it's really hard for you to make like a suited run, it's really hard for you to play multiples because you have a lot of singles, but there's that sense of like, I could do better. I'm gonna see if it's just random luck or if it's actually skill, and it's really interesting to throw that in there. And I think that's what Loop has in spades, and it's all in this little tiny box. So sooner or later, I'm gonna have to make an official list of my favorite shedding games from Asia and from the West, because I just like them more than trick taking. I had an interview on Trick Talkers with Ryan, and I made a list there, and then retrospectively, I think I want to change a few things, and definitely having Loop on that list. Now that I played it at 4 with switching seats, I can definitely see the beauty of this game. Next is Tokkuri Taking, also by Takashi Saito. Now, because Takashi Saito had Loop, and the previous year before that, he came up with a game called Open. I didn't care too much for Open, but everyone loved it. Loop has been on a big hit, so I'm curious to see what he did this year with Tokkuri Taking. Tokkuri Taking is a very fast game. I mean, on the box it says 5 minutes, and yeah, that's about right. It's about a 5-minute game. And I kind of wish it was a little longer. In Tokkuri Taking, you're all dinosaurs drinking sake. Now, keep in mind that these are not dinosaurs with feathers, because dinosaurs should have feathers. You didn't know that? Well, you better brush up on your science, buddy. But all the cards have a tokuri, or like a sake vessel or carafe there. And then on the other side are all these numbered cards. And it has English and Japanese on there. Solid. Now on your turn, you're gonna do one of 3 things. You're going to either discard the card and draw a card. You're gonna place it face down like this. And you can put a little wooden token here at level 10. Or you're gonna play a card face up with all these numbers on it. Now, what do these numbers mean? Well, these numbers allow you to drink your sake and other people's sake. And so eventually that little water level is gonna get down to 0. Now, you have to get exact. You can't go negative, it has to go exactly. So if it's at watermark 3, you gotta play a card that's at 3, so that way you drink it straight to 0. Do that and you collect that Tokkuri and put it into your collection and you score points. You score points for all the vessels that you've drunk, and you lose points for the vessels that you haven't drunk that are above the levels 2 and 3 mark. And there's a lot of fun cards, like a little fake Tokkuri vessel, so if someone drinks it, they don't get any points, or something like you drink like 9 gulps out of it, or maybe something like this where it's drink 1, 2, or 3 sips of sake, and it's really light. And just as it begins, it immediately ends. And I kind of wish this deck were maybe twice the size. I think if it were just like a 10-minute game, I would like it more. But it is a lighthearted game, and it is fun, and it's fast. The other problem that I have is that the scoring is quite brutal, because you get 1 point for the vessels that you drink, and all the vessels that are not drunk in front of you, you lose 2 points. So it can get quite painful after a while. And then you have to give points to the winner of the game, and then you start off with like 10 points, like poker chips, and when you're out, and the score's a little weird and wonky. I think most groups that I played it with haven't liked it. But these are all initial impressions of these games. These are not full reviews, so just keep that in mind as I go on to the list. But Tokkuri Taking, I know people that actually really love this game, especially the theme of dinosaurs drinking sake is awesome. Now, these 2 games made my top 100 list of the best board games to ever come out of Japan, and they're both really high up there. This is Natsumemo. It is my favorite flip and write game out there. You're all junior high schools in your last month of summer vacation, and you're planning out your days, trying to balance between doing homework and hanging out with your friends and family. Amazing, absolutely hilarious, great time. This is Nana, or Trio, which you have probably heard of because everyone's talking and raving about it. It is just a gamery go fish, and if you think that is not fun, you are wrong. You're just flat out wrong. This is an amazing game. So these are both by the same designer, Kaya Miyano. I apologize if I said your name wrong. This designer has caught my attention, and every time they release a new game, I'm always curious. So this year, I picked up 2 of their games. First up is Wanted Wombat, which is a very tiny 5-minute filler game. The rules are actually in the forums of a BGG talk where someone asks, where are the rules? And someone says, you just put the deck down and you say which wombat you're gonna draw, and if you're right, you get to hold it in your hand, and then you keep on pushing the luck, trying to guess correctly, and if you guess wrong, all the cards in your hand go into the discard pile, and if you're right, if you stop, then you get to keep everything you had. Really simple. Someone commented on BGG that the strategy in this game is super thin, but this is not a heavy strategy game. This is not trying to be Nucleum. This is not trying to be a Lacerda game. This is a very simple, approachable, like Taco Cat Gochi's Pizza level of thinking. Like it is just supposed to be silly fun, and this does it amazingly well. This is a textbook example of how to do push your luck games. Because while it is kind of random what's on that deck, the discard pile is splayed out so you can see what has been missed and what people guessed incorrectly. Also, everyone's tableau is fully open, so you're able to count and you're able to realize what the ratio is on the draw deck, and you can count those ratios. So 1, push your luck works best when you're able to calculate that risk. And 2, there needs to be a twist. And the twist for this game is this card, and there are 2 of them in the deck. Now, this is the highest valued card in the game, the 10,000, and if you guess incorrectly and you pull this card, well then you take it and you shuffle it back into the draw deck, and then eventually it'll appear. So eventually, you're gonna have someone call 10 and pull a 10, and it's always riveting to see at the table. Everyone always leaps up and screams and shouts like, ah! But once I saw someone call 10 twice in a row and pull 10 twice in a row, and it was the most explosive thing I've ever seen. It's one of my top 10 favorite gaming moments of all time. It's just amazing. And for this little game to do that, I think that speaks volumes for it. People always ask me as a content creator or reviewer of games, Jay, what's a good game? And you can see on BGG all these people talking about good strategy, player availability, replayability, different strategies, all viable, really balanced gameplay. I'll tell you what, all that is hogwash. What makes a good game are memories. And if a game can generate really lasting memories, then that to me is a sign of a good game. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the year, when you look at my shelf, when I look at my shelf, I don't see boxes of games, I see boxes of memories. I look at this game, for example, and I remember one time I played it and how people responded to it. And every time I play this game, I want to kind of recapture those moments. And that to me is a sign of a really good game. And Wanted Wombat does that. It pulls it off. And it pulls it off with spades. And calling 10, pulling 10 is one of the best gaming experiences you're gonna have. Next is Trick and Snipers. Now, Ma Plus, Kaya Miyano's publisher, is easily one of my favorite publishers out of Japan right now. They're just coming out with all these things that are very light, approachable, and fun. Now, this is a trick-taking game, as you can kind of guess by the name of the title. And it's one of the first ones that I played. I believe it's the first one I played from Ma Plus. It might be their first trick-taking game altogether. But I have to say that if all the games that I played at Tokyo Game Market, all of them, from not just this year, but all the years past, and every Japanese game that I've played over the years, this has some of the best quality cards I've ever played with. I think this is tied for like kingmakers for the quality of cards. Like these cards are nice, thick. They probably have a dark core to them, and they have a nice like linen finish to them. This is quality, and it even has a foil of a 7. Like this is really quality card work. So if you just like cardstock and you're a big fan of cards like I am, this is worth it. But Trick and Snipers, because it's Mod Plus, has a different approach to trick taking that I haven't really seen before. The goal of this game isn't to win tricks. Your goal is to get 2 points. And you get 2 points in a very odd way. If someone plays a 7 into a trick and then you win that trick, well then you get a point. The other way you score a point is through sniping. So let's say whoever won the trick, let's say the 10, this teal 10 won the trick. If you're able to play a card, let's say this one, that's off suit, and the totals add up to 13, well then you win the trick and you score a point. So right away, you're in this position to where you're holding back the 7s, you're waiting for the 7s to come out so that way you can guarantee to play it and win the trick, but also at the same time, you're keeping low valued cards to make sure that you're able to snipe and you're pushing yourself to go out, to short suit yourself so you could play those low value cards so that way you could snipe the victory from someone else. And it's really interesting to play. The weird question that I have to ask myself is that, well, I mean, did I really win? Is this me with my clever card play, or is it just random luck that I won? And I'm still kind of new to the game. These are all impressions of the game, not full reviews, but I definitely want to play this more before I finally have my say on it. But from components alone, like the quality of the cardstock is amazing, and you get the great side bepo art. So Trick and Snipers is a winner in my book so far. I definitely want to play it some more to see how I feel about the sniping and playing the 7s. But I think it's a quality trick-taking game that's easily but I think it's a quality trick-taking game that can easily fit in your backpack. Bus and Stop was my #1 pick for Tokyo Game Market because it is a new Sashi game. Now, I have every Sashi game that he's ever made, and I top 8 best of Sashi games way back in the day, back when he only had 8 releases. Now he definitely has more than 10, so I definitely should revisit that sometime soon. But Bus and Stop is everything I've grown to love about Sashi. It's approachable, it has fantastic art from Takako Takurai, and 3, it has a really clever design. Everyone is a bus and you're driving around town. On your turn, you do one of 2 things. You either, 1, pick up passengers, or 2, you drop them off. How's that abstracted out in the game? Well, there is a bus stop filled with 5 passengers, all have different colors like blue, yellow, purple, green, and you pick up all of one color. And you put them onto your bus, but you only hold 10 people. Then, independently of the color, there is a little icon on the top left of the card showing where they want to go. They want to go to like the business place, shopping, university, or like a tennis court, I believe. So later on in a future turn, you could say, I'm going to drop off all these people at the university or at the tennis courts or in the office building. And there are all these little scorecards there to give you points depending on how many people that you drop off. If you get more, so I think it's like 4, 5, 7 people, then you get tons of crazy points. So you're choosing this little balance of, do I go slow for big points or do I go fast for lots of small points? Now, while that is kind of approachable and kind of simple, we've kind of seen some games like this before. The twist here is the skedaddle mechanic, and it's literally called skedaddle, where if Chris drops off players like at the tennis courts, then everyone else at the table, if they have someone on their bus that wants to go to tennis courts, they could drop them off too. And it's any number from like 1 to 10. So because of the skedaddle mechanic, you are invested in what everyone else is doing at the table. When you pick up people at the bus stop, you're picking like all blue or all red or all green. So you're gonna be a few odd ones that don't match what you're going for. And the skedaddle mechanic is a great way for you just to shoo them off the bus and also get points for it. I found that skedaddling as much as you can is a great way to get points because it makes your turns far more efficient and it makes the game a little bit more interactive because you're caring about what other people are doing. And the times that I have played it, usually you see players like have a little bit of a slow time understanding, okay, what's going on here, what's doing this, and then they get the game after a few rounds, and then it's just boom, 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 and then the game's immediately over. And you can see that skedaddling going, or you drop off 7 people and it's, or maybe you're just dropping off 4 and then someone else just drops off 5 because the game's about to end and you're trying to get as many points as you can. Sometimes someone drops off people and takes the last station card, meaning that no one else can officially drop off people there. So you skedaddle them all out of your bus to make room. And it's just really interesting how that interaction plays out. And because of that, I do feel that it plays better like at the 3-player count, whereas 4, it's kind of sprawled out and it's hard to see what everyone else is doing, but like at that 3 and even 2, it scales pretty well. And it's definitely, I think, one of the better Sashi and Sashi games. And these are only the first 5 of many games from Tokyo Game Market Spring of 2024. I'm going to be talking about more of them in the weeks to come. So go ahead and like and subscribe and make sure you don't miss the next video. Once again, my name's Jay. I play board games from Asia and share it fine with all of you. I'm going to put a link up here to another video that I think you might enjoy. See you there.